Hello, students. Hope you are doing well. You are preparing well for the NEET. We have one more question here. Match the following type. This time the question is on biomolecules. Especially the question is based on bonds. What bonds are present in these? So I would like to give you some synopsis about these bonds. Let's have a look at the peptide bonds. To know the peptide bonds, you should know about first the amino acids. We know that this is alpha carbon and this is COOH, carboxylic acid. Let's have here the alkyl group R1 and this is hydrogen. This is the NH2, that is amine. Now it binds with another amino acid, that is NH2. I write it here H H of amine, then alpha carbon R2 COOH H. So two amino acids I have taken here. Let us see how does this peptide bond is formed. Remember, peptide bond is a dehydration bond that a water molecule lost here like this. I write it here minus H2O. The resultant is that we write here again hydrogen, alpha carbon, R1, NH2, CO, NH, alpha carbon, R2, hydrogen, COOH. So this particular bond present in between amine group and CO group is called as peptide bond. So this peptide bond is always formed in C to N direction. C to N direction. C to N direction means it's always formed in between carboxylic acid of first amino acid and amine group of second amino acid. It will be never the opposite type, always formed C to N, never be N to C. That is one thing you'd remember. For that, what happens in a chain of polypeptides, on left side you find here N terminal, this is called as N terminal. This is on L end, left side, and right side you have C terminal. This is on right side you have the C terminal. So why left end N terminal, right end C terminal? Because the bond is formed always in between C to N direction. So a protein will have here the peptide bond. I am marking it this 4. Next, unsaturated fatty acids. See, saturated, unsaturated, we have a very familiar term in organic chemistry as well as the carbon is concerned. When carbon has the 4 single bonds, it is said to be the saturated, and when carbon has 2 double bonds like this, it is called as unsaturated. Hope it is very clear. I think many of you know that when it is having only single bond, it is saturated. When it is having either double bond or triple bond, this is also like this, C triple bond C. It's also unsaturated. So for unsaturated, we can write here C double bond C. This is unsaturated fatty acids, right? Then nucleic acid. Let us have a look at the nucleic acids. Let us see here that this is sugar, and always remember that to the first carbon of sugar the phosphate is the nitrogen base is found. Let me draw the diagram here. The first carbon, then second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon, and this is oxygen. So I drew the diagram of the deoxyribose sugar molecule, that is C5H10O4. So I was telling you that to the first carbon of the sugar a nitrogen base is attached by the glycosidic bond, and here Let us take it as adenine, double bond, thymine. Again thymine is attached to the first carbon of the another sugar molecule. This is second carbon, the third carbon. You might be observing that I am taking the another sugar molecule in ulta position. This is fourth carbon, this is fifth carbon. This is oxygen. This is fourth carbon, this is oxygen. Okay. Now this is a typical what we call this DNA, and to this here one phosphate group is attached, and here also one phosphate group is attached. Phosphate group is attached to fifth and third carbon of the sugar molecule by ester bond we call it, and again is attached to another fifth carbon of another sugar molecule, and here we find here fourth carbon, third carbon, second carbon, first carbon, oxygen, and here we find cytosine, triple bond, guanine, first carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon, right, here oxygen. Now in between fifth and third carbon phosphate is bound here like this. Again to this we find here phosphate, again to we find here the phosphate. So this bond is present in between phosphate and fifth carbon of sugar molecule is called as ester bond, and when two ester bonds are present, you see third carbon, fifth carbon of sugar molecule, two ester bonds are present. These two ester bonds are called as diester. It is called diester, so we call it as phosphodiester bond. Here also we find the same, this is the diester bond. So remember always phosphate group is attached by ester bonds to the sugar molecule, whereas nitrogen base is attached with glycosidic bond. This bond is also called as glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bond, and these bonds are called as hydrogen bonds. So why I am drawing all these actually not necessary, but when you are perfect with these diagrams, when you are able to draw the diagrams without any difficulty, then whatever question that arises, what format the question may arise, you may twist the question in any manner, you can do it better and excellent. That's why I am explaining each and every bond in detail. So nucleic acid, we have here the phosphodiester. Then polysaccharide. Polysaccharides will have the glycosidic bond. Of course, polysaccharides will be there both in nucleic acid as well as glycosidic bond will be there both in nucleic acid as well as polysaccharide. So let us see one more thing here is that monosaccharides in a polysaccharide means many saccharide units are present, that is called polysaccharide, and these monosaccharides when present in many number, that is polysaccharide, these monosaccharides are attached to each other by glycosidic bonds. So when you see here a protein is 4, that is A4 is there in first and fourth. See, the question is very cleverer, you can find it here, that a protein peptide bond is there in first option as well as fourth option. So we should go to the second one, B, unsaturated fatty acid, that is C double bond C, that is B1. So B1 is present only in first option, not in fourth option. So this will be the correct answer. Let us see the C, nucleic acid. See, nucleic acid having phosphodiester bond C2, that is correct, and polysaccharides, they have here glycosidic bond, that is D3, it's also the correct. So D3 is given, you see in the maths are following, D3 is given twice, right, and C is given only 1, 2, 3, 4. You see C is given here 2, here C4, here C3, here C1. What is C? Nucleic acid. So for nucleic acid C, he did not repeat anywhere. He gave all the 4 options different, 1, 2, 3, 4. Means he finds that nucleic acid, he feels that the knowing about nucleic acid is compulsory because it is more important among the all biomolecules. So he kept here all 4 different options. You see the polysaccharide D. For D he gave 3 and 3. Both are same. 3 and 3 both are same. And for here 2 and 4 he gave 2 and 2. So he did not find it that much important like the nucleic acid. So in match the following type of question, this type will arise. Sometimes what happens, directly we get the answer without any difficulty and we choose it the right one. But sometimes it will take time. So there we require our concept should be very clearer. And anyhow, what I say is that though you get the answer in the first glance itself, better you check it once again, at least once again. I know that we keep very less time for botany, but even then you check it once again to avoid any flaws, any mistakes, because any mistake will lead to loss of 5 marks. That is very difficult, losing of 5 marks will lead you loss of so many ranks. You may get behind of thousands of ranks, and that makes a lot of difference. For that, just spend 20 seconds or 10 seconds in reconstructing your answer, revising your answer, revisiting your answer once again before bubbling the options, right? So this question is based on biomolecules. We have seen some questions on biomolecules also. Biomolecules are very difficult, where you need to draw the structures of the diagram. One should practice them very thoroughly, especially the structure of nucleoside, nucleotide, deoxyribose sugar, nitrogen bases like adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, uracil, and moreover the trihydroxypropane, glycerin, monoglyceride, diglyceride, triglyceride, and tripalmitin. So cholesterol is given. With just 6 or 7 diagrams are there. Once you look at them very thoroughly, if matter you make a note of them. See, I always say to children that just by reading the pages, looking at the diagrams will not fetch you anything. You have to take a pencil, take a white paper and try to draw the diagram. Label it neatly. Biology and especially organic chemistry can be learnt, can be get only by practicing diagrams. I know that it is very boring, it takes a lot of time, but once you are able to draw the diagram without looking at textbook, take that you have become very perfect. So you can do that very well. What question may be twisted, what format it may be asked, you can do it excellent manner. So we will try to minimize the flaws, we try to minimize the mistakes and maximize the correct. So minus will be less, plus will be more. That will fetch you more. Remember, botany and zoology, especially biology, are scoring subjects. Just you remember, you see the pages, you see the diagrams. Once you understand that, you never forget. They are not volatile. Once you remember them, you remember them forever. So I request you to spend more time in biology, especially the biology people. If they spend more time on biology, they can get more scoring in biology rather than the physics. Of course, chemistry also, but chemistry requires a lot of practice other than biology. Okay, so I think its video is very much helpful to you, and we will be entering the entire NEET 2021 till the last question, so that I can make you more perfect and make you enthusiastic in solving the problems, in solving the questions. Okay, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe my channel Vivid Botany.